Now that we've set up a shared symbol that our two banner files are using, we can see how shared symbols can be a real time saver by allowing us to update the same piece of artwork or the same asset across multiple files in a project. If you still have your two banner files open, let's take a moment and just close those files up. Close the car sale 720 by 90 banner file, and also close the car sale 300 by 250 file. Of course, make sure to save these first. This leaves our mecarlogo.fla file remaining behind. Now, the beauty of using a shared symbol is that any changes we make to the master symbol in our source file will allow us to update that throughout other FLA files using that same symbol. Let's take, for example, our mecar logo. We may decide at some point, or mecar may decide at some point, to make a major change to their logo. Now, since it's being used in two other FLA files, we want to see how any changes to this logo will filter down to those remaining files. Inside of your mecar logo file, use your selection tool and double-click on the single movie clip instance on the stage, which contains the logo artwork. This is an instance of that single movie clip named logo, and if we double-click on that to edit in place and take a look down at the timeline, we'll see that the artwork for the logo is actually sitting on a layer called 2008 logo. And what we'll also see is directly above it, there's a guide layer called 2009 logo. Guide layers are generally used for artwork that we don't want published in our final file. For instance, reference artwork or images that we may want to trace from or over, or just anything that doesn't need to be a part of the final file. It's also a nice way to hide a layer that you don't want to discard in case you want to come back to that and reuse it later. In this specific case, what we're going to do is go ahead and hide the 2008 logo layer by just turning its visibility off for a moment. And go ahead and reveal the visibility of the guide layer directly above 2009 logo. So here we see this actually contains the artwork in progress for the new version of the mecar logo. Now, if at some point mecar decides they're ready to put this logo into use, we've got actually two banner projects that use the old logo. Luckily for us, they're actually using a shared symbol, so any changes we make here we'll be able to easily update inside of our slave banner files. To make this artwork active, what we're going to do is right-click on the 2009 logo layer, and we're going to deselect the guide option and turn this back to a regular visible layer. We're going to leave the 2008 logo layer hidden, but we're also going to right-click on this, and we're going to set the guide option. This is a nice alternative to discarding the layer and allows us to come back to this artwork later on if we change our mind. Now, before we can tell any other files to update from this symbol, we have to make sure that the file itself is saved and up to date. So let's just simply go up to File and choose Save, and save our mecar logo file. Go up to File, and once again, you can use your Open Recent menu or just go into the chapter folder with a standard Open command. And let's reopen our two banners, which are the 300 by 250 and the 720 by 90 banners. Now, there's a couple of different ways that we can update a file that's using a shared symbol. The first one is a manual update. Let's go ahead and bring our car sale 300 by 250 file forward. Now, right now, we still see the old logo. That's because our shared symbol hasn't been updated from the source file yet. What happens if we go up to Control and choose Test Movie? What we're going to see is the same logo shows up. This is because we chose not to update this file before publishing. You may remember that was a little checkbox that we saw inside of our Create New Symbol dialog box. So this file doesn't know to automatically check for updates when and if it's published. So what we have to do in this particular case is we actually have to do a manual update. To do this, go ahead and close the Flash player. Let's return to our library and go ahead and select the logo shared symbol inside of your library and right-click on it to produce the contextual menu. Go down a little more than halfway and you'll see there's an update option. Go ahead and select that. What that does is that shows us any shared library items, in this particular case our logo shared, and shows us the path to the source file that it's pulling its content from, which is our mecar logo file. Below it says one of one items needs to be updated, so it detects that there's actually been a change made to the source file, and this gives us the opportunity to update that. So all we have to do to update this is simply click the Update button. Go ahead and close the panel, and you'll see the new logo has been put into place directly on the stage. So this is pretty cool. We didn't need to re-import the logo. We didn't need to do any type of copy and paste. We simply needed to say, hey, check if there's an update, and if so, let's go ahead and update this. And it automatically fills in or updates the content from our original source file. Now let's try and accomplish this same task with our other banner, which is the 720 by 90. Go ahead and bring that banner file forward. Now here we could also do a manual update, just like we did in the previous banner file. However, if we go into our library and just select the logo shared symbol, let's go down to the very bottom and click the Properties button to open up the properties for this symbol. In the Symbol Properties dialog box at the very bottom, you'll see under our source options, we made sure in this particular file to check off the Always Update Before Publishing checkbox. Because of this, anytime we publish this file through either an export, a publish, or a test movie, it will automatically look back to the source file, and if any updates have been made to the symbol, it will automatically update this file. Let's go ahead and see that in action. Click OK to exit this dialog box, and simply go up to Control Test Movie to preview our banner. And what you'll see is automatically the logo updates, both on the FLA file and in the finished SWF file. So the Always Update Before Publishing checkbox is actually a pretty handy option. Now there are some cases where you may not want to use this. In a more controlled environment where updates need to be approved or you need to get the green light in order to start using an updated version of an asset, you may want to have the choice or the control of doing it manually. However, in a situation where you always want to be up to date with the source file, checking off that checkbox can be a nice time saver. Go ahead and close the Flash Player.